Welcome back to another episode on the Gold Room. Thanks for tuning in. Today we've got Tyson from DTL. Before we crack on, mate, I've got to do a little shout out to the show's sponsor, which is Rushalek. Thank you very much, Joshy, for supporting another episode, mate. Much appreciated. Tyson, you actually know Rushy, don't you?
Oh, Rushy, mate, one of the great Sparkies in the Goldfields. I've been a part of his growth journey for about 4 years now, I think. A couple of different companies, and now he's doing some work through us as well, which is great. And shout out to Rushy, mate. Great work.
Yeah, mate, he's a bloody legend.
Absolutely,
him and Wazza. Oh, Wazza.
Yeah, He's been on the last job with us, mate. He's done a great job out there in the middle of the bush. So
yeah, bloody
well done, Waz.
Awesome. Well, mate, we always start with the life and the time, so kick off with that.
Yeah, look, mate, thanks for having me on. Number one, I always appreciate being able to tell our story. Don't get to do it that often. We're usually out in the bush, which is what I love. So, thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Look, the story's a bit of a long one. I've come a long way around to get to where we are. Originally from a small regional community in South Australia. Grew up on a farm over there and learned a lot about the water industry from that, I guess. You know, it's a pretty interesting life out there.
What was the town, mate?
I was actually, in between a couple of towns, so Melrose and Wilmington in the Southern Flinders Ranges, which is about 4 hours north of Adelaide.
Okay.
Great way to grow up. I mean, your neighbours are your best friends. You get on push bikes and ride down and meet each other. Run a bit of a muck in the bush, chasing kangaroos and birds and all that kind of stuff. But really, I think it's one of those lifestyles. I think that has to be lived. I think it's a great way to grow up. It's pretty grounding. You've obviously got to do a little bit of work along the way. No easy ride on the farm. When the old man was away, we were into the chores. And
awesome.
I think I'll never forget how I grew up. It's been a long time since I've been back there, but it's just one of those places. And the friends that you meet there, the sporting communities, school, that kind of stuff. So it was a brilliant way to grow up, I think.
Awesome. So from your early days, what schools did you go to when you were a young fella?
Yeah, I went to a couple of schools. At school wasn't my strong point, mind you.
Neither was mine, mate.
Look, it was more of a had-to-be-there sort of operation, but a small little primary school in Melrose, I think probably about 50 people maybe back then.
Yeah.
Memory's a little bit tight on that sort of stuff. And then over to a senior school, which was Bullaroo Centre, which was sort of an area school there, and people from all over the place came there. And look, like I said, school wasn't my strong point.
What age did you leave?
I left at 16, mate.
Nice.
I'd just finished year 11, I believe. I bought my old man's car off him, or pretended to buy it off him, let's say. And I packed up and got my red P's or my P plates back then. There wasn't really a choice like there is today. So, we just got our licence, and I actually drove up to the Northern Territory and spent a year and a half working for my auntie and uncle up there. And my first car trip as a licensed driver was something like 1,800 kilometres. So
wow,
and a couple of days, 3 days or something.
That's
like that.
That's a good stint.
I went. They owned a small roadhouse up there with a hotel and all that kind of stuff to it. So it was an interesting sort of baptism of fire to the work life. It was pretty crazy. I used to have to open the roadhouse at 4 o'clock in the morning, prep the kitchen for the chef to come in. Make the coffees for the attendees and fill up the trucks when they come through. So
awesome.
It was a pretty awesome place. Three ways. I met some great people up there, and unfortunately along the journey, I met one of my life's great mates, and he was killed in a car accident up that way. So
oh mate, sorry.
It was pretty brutal at that age.
How old were you? So 17?
Yeah, I was 17 and a half, towards 18 by then. It was pretty horrific, to be honest. It's lived with me for the rest of my life. But we do what we can to honour the fallen, and I think I know he's with me all the time, and he's that kind of person. I know today we would still be the best of friends and still probably running amok together.
What was his name, mate?
His name was Nick Warby, and he was one of the great characters of the day. He taught me a lot of good things and a lot of bad things as well. So
character building.
Character building, yes. So. After the stint up there, I think I got back to Adelaide. I thought I'd better get my shit together, so to speak. I ended up in a trade and in heavy diesel with Kenworth over there. Again, didn't really love what I did. Found I'm not sure about the diesel and the oil all the time. It was a pretty heavy job as well, so got through that. Didn't really enjoy it that much. And sort of ended up working for a friend of mine installing split systems, which Rush Elect do very well.
They do a great job.
Yeah, great job. So, did that for about a year or so. And, I think that person in my life, he was a really big mentor to me. His work ethic was second to none. I learnt, again, I'm 18 years old. He's away on holidays. I'm running 4 crews for him.
Awesome.
Organising the works and getting out there and doing the split install. So, I think
you realised that you had that team management about you even back then.
Yeah, I think it's a funny one because there's a lot of training and a lot of process-driven stuff nowadays around leadership. I'm still slightly old school. I believe leadership is born into you, and I think through my sporting career as well, being leaders in footy teams and cricket teams and stuff like that over the past. So I think leadership was one of those things. I wasn't that good at school, but I knew I wanted to be something. I wasn't sure what that was just yet.
I love that, mate.
But I knew that I was going to achieve something, and I wanted to achieve something for myself, but for my family as well. So
yeah, beautiful.
I ended up walking into a job after that, which was pretty much by chance. Probably, probably needed a bit of a shake-up. So I ended up working with a company called Grundfos, which is one of the biggest pump companies in the world there. And I loved my time there. And
what were you doing there?
We were basically just building pumps on the assembly line, and it was pretty simple work after repetitive work, but it was good work, and. The team that we worked with there, I was only over there touring the factory the other day, and the boys are all still there. It's 20 odd years ago now, and they're still all there working in the same place.
Wow,
loving life. And there's some great camaraderie we had then. On a Friday afternoon, we'd get to the pub and all enjoy our weekends together. And those were lessons, I think. That shaped me today. That camaraderie is really important in what we do in life in general. I think it's a pretty lonely world sometimes, but if you've got that support network around you, you can
good mates really makes all the difference.
Yeah, 100%, and enjoying your time together. So I ended up in Grundfos, and 12 months in, a company from Western Australia toured through the factory, and I didn't really know anything about WA, to be honest, and. Sort of hit it off with the guy that came through the factory, and he said, why don't you come over to WA and join us? And, I guess the rest is history, so to speak. I packed up a little Kia Carnival, I think, a Kia Sportiva or something like that, and I probably had a ton of weight in this thing that could carry about 500 kilos, I guess, and she was on the bottom of the stops and and packed up a car, and we headed west and
drove the Nullarbor.
Yeah, drove the Nullarbor,
Beauty.
And never looked back. First stop was Norseman, actually, and I forgot to.
What a great town!
Yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener actually back then. It was So that's
what year was that?
2011, I think that is.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was our first stop. We were from out of town. It felt like we were from out of town. Walking into the pub for a beer that night. Yeah. I forgot to set the clock to Western Australian time, and I jumped up in the motel at what I thought was 6 o'clock in the morning was 3 o'clock in the morning, and got everything packed up, locked the door, got into the car, and realised it was 3 in the morning. So we're into Perth. From there, about 9:30 that day, and not really sure what to do and what we were doing. We'd come over for a job, obviously, so that job took a little bit longer. So I found a guy that was looking for a bit of a hand doing air cons again. So helped him out for a couple of weeks while the job went through. And once the job went through, it all started, mate. It started in Malaga as a 21-year-old in a factory just around the corner from here, and. It was a pretty good time and a great opportunity.
So what were you doing?
I was over here as a pump technician.
Okay.
So again, the company had a great relationship with the previous company that I worked for. So we ended up building a facility here in Malaga that was able to service that supplier. And I think that was really important. So we built a test facility, we built build benches, and we spent a year on doing that. Another great mentor of mine that ran the factory there that I've learned a lot of over the time. Myself and him, we chipped away at it, and they put me through a lot of training and education along the way with, moving into, not just pumps, but the after side, which I'd never been a part of, which was towards the installation and the commissioning and the backup support and all that kind of stuff. So once we got into that, I really thought I found my niche then. I didn't really enjoy the rigours of, a smoko alarm at 10 and a lunch alarm at 1 o'clock. That's just not who I am. And, I'm a pretty flexible, versatile kind of person. And, I didn't really enjoy the rigours of working in a factory. So I finally got the opportunity to join, to go to site for the first time. And I think it would have been, probably late 2012. I would have been at Hope Downs 4, I think, up in the Pilbara there, and we put our first bore pump in, and to be honest, that had me there, and I knew that this was my passion and this was my life, and that's what I wanted to put my effort into. Something about being out in the regions, out in the bush with a couple of mates, installing pumps, commissioning, doing a job, having a bit of enjoyment along the way. It's a bit more difficult these days. It was pretty fun, and I loved it.
Once again, it comes down to the crew. You can still have heaps of fun doing whatever you're doing, as long as it's safe. Safety first, but you can still have fun. It's once again, it comes down to the people that you're with and the communication, working with some legends.
Mate, the DNA of life is to enjoy it, I think. I think we get very caught up nowadays. We've got a fast-paced life. Everything's on your phone, people don't, get the opportunity to just sit back every now and then and maybe pat yourself on the back or just enjoy the moment, and to enjoy the moment, surround yourself with good people that are like-minded. And I think, from a personal and a company perspective, I think a mantra of ours is to enjoy what we're doing. There's no point in doing all this work and not enjoying it, I've been to some unbelievable places across the whole country through work, and I've enjoyed every single moment of it.
You have a favourite place?
Well, it's pretty easy for me. After spending the last sort of 6 years or so in Kalgoorlie is my number one place. I've lived in the Northern Territory, I've lived in South Australia, I've visited Queensland quite often for work. Western Australia is home now.
I love it.
I would never leave.
Neither would I.
It is my great place. And on top of that, the years I spent in Kalgoorlie are some of the best years of my life.
How long were you there? 6?
6 years, yeah. And lucky enough, I met my wife there. And
beautiful.
We've got a little baby boy now, which is awesome.
Congratulations.
So I don't think we can, we can't ever put Kalgoorlie down. I think it's one of the great places in Australia, not just in Western Australia.
Yeah, I remember when I first moved to Kalgoorlie in 2013, I thought, fuck me, I'm rich. I couldn't believe it. Coming from New Zealand, I was just like, what have I been doing for 28 years? I was like, I've fucked it right up. And then Kalgoorlie just it changed me. So I ended up having my youngest son there. It was awesome. Got some great memories from there. Heaps of memories probably spent in the pub.
Yeah.
Lost a few memories too in the pub,
Yeah.
Sure you would have done the same.
Oh, one of those traps, mate. I think to have 21 pubs in walking distance isn't a great idea, but look, many of us got out of there alive, some didn't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So, mate, I'm very biased to Kalgoorlie. I love the place. We love doing business still in the Goldfields, so it's great, mate.
How much, what percentage do you think of your work is in the Goldfields as opposed to around Perth or up in the Pilbara?
Oh, predominantly, mate. We're holistically in the Goldfields,
okay, cool.
And I include the Midwest in the Goldfields as well. It is the gold vein through there, so we're looking forward to building a premises out there in the distant future, and
wow,
and having a business based out there, employing local people, and giving back to the community that's given us so much. Beautiful.
Well, mate, before we rip into a few more questions about that, what does DTL stand for?
Look, DTL, and I probably skipped over that in the early parts. DTL means everything to me. It is a brainchild of 15 years of my career in Western Australia. I think originally registered the name when I was probably 23, with a bit smaller vision than I had now. And then realised I probably wasn't quite ready then. I was pretty immature in my business career, and I knew I had to knuckle down and learn as much as I could from some great companies that I got the opportunity to work for over the time, and still have this great relationship with these guys, and very thankful for the opportunities that those companies gave me, because I wouldn't be sitting here today talking about DTL if they didn't give a young guy from South Australia a crack at 21 years old. So DTL stands for most things we've talked about today. It stands for camaraderie, it stands for mateship, it stands for looking after our people, our families, and it stands for really servicing and supporting our customers. I think one thing we want to do in business is really be there for our customers. We're not interested in transactional business. We're interested in building long-standing partnerships with our clientele and being that point of phone call where you might not be able to get what you need from your standard supply chain. You give us a call and we'll get it done for you. We'll be on site. We'll come there. We'll stand by you. We'll help you through it, and we'll get it done. And that's what DTL stands for, really. It's really about building a successful business, but only around our people and our customers.
Well, mate, far out. I think that's the best bloody description I've heard from any supplier that's come in here. It's bloody ripper.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Right. You've built DTL out of regional WA. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced working remote?
There's a lot of challenges working remotely. It's been a really tough couple of years for probably regional Australia. I'm not just talking about the Goldfields or the Pilbara. I think there's obviously access to a lot more FIFO going on nowadays, and communities are struggling a little bit because of that. But we know it's a requirement to get the job done, because without mining, we'd be in a bit of trouble as a country, let alone as people. So mining is our way of life. So I think there's a lot of challenges in regional WA at the moment. I think from our perspective, it's been tough to get people. And also, we really want to support the communities that we're in. So we want local people where we have bases. Yep. We want the local people to take charge of what we do and fly our banner for us and go on with it.
Are you struggling finding the right people in those regional towns?
Yeah, I think there's such a small pool nowadays that you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you don't really want to be doing that in business. I mean, we want to support every business, not just our own. We get competitive sets and all that kind of stuff, but that's not really how we think. Yep. We think, why not? Why wouldn't we work with you? If you want to work with us, we want to work with you. So
yep, I like that.
I think there's obviously cost of living and all that kind of stuff that can
crazy at the moment
can affect what goes on in the regions, and your supply chain. We both sit here today working in the mining industry. We know it's 24/7, but there's not too many supply chains out there that are 24/7.
That's bloody correct.
And you might get out of the pit at the end of a day, and there's no phone reception anywhere near the mine till you get back to the camp, and you need to make a few calls to get a few parts sent up, and no one's there for you. So it is very isolated. So yep. Another big part of why working in the regions is tough, and why you've got to be organised and professional about how you go about it.
Yep. Mate, you're known for keeping it real, if you will. How do you go about doing that with your team?
Look, keeping it real is definitely something we are. There's a lot of politics in the world today. It's not what DTL are about. We keep it real by having honest conversations with each other, by bringing everyone on our journey together. There's no hidden nonsense in through our business. Yep. We treat our people like family, and I know that's a cliche in business nowadays.
Lots of businesses don't.
Yeah, there's lots of businesses that don't. There's lots of businesses that talk about it and don't do it. Yep. I've learnt some great lessons in business, and I've also learnt some bad lessons. So I think there's more to learn out of the bad lessons than the good lessons.
Always.
So treating our people like they are DTL is what we do. Yep. And everyone that works for us has got a piece of the pie. So we thoroughly enjoy having our people be part of our journey.
Mate, you are across multiple sites. You've got multiple staff out there and multiple different locations around Western Australia. How do you go about managing all of that? How do you go about it? Do you have a great admin base here in Perth?
Oh, mate, yeah, absolutely we do. I've actually got who I would consider as one of the best in the business coming to join us next week in the administration role, and really excited to have her on board. I think she's going to be great for our business. I've had the opportunity to work with her in the past, and Yeah, I can't wait till she starts. Running a business across lots of different regions is very tricky. So we rely a lot on trust. We trust our people to do their job, So we're not micromanagers. We really get into the nitty gritty of it. Here's your job. This is what we expect of you.
Go
Call
and
us
do
if
it.
there's any dramas.
Yep, beautiful.
And 9 times out of 10, the boys go out there and they ace it,
Yep.
And that maybe that one other time might be we've forgotten something for them on the back of their truck. So the team is second to none. I really believe in who we are and what we do, and the people that are carrying the DTL flag on their shirts every day. They mean the world to us, and they deliver to a real high quality over and over again.
Beautiful. What's a common myth that you see in this industry?
There's a fair few common myths. The biggest one is that it's easy.
In business?
In business, but in water, in power, we know there's a lot of complexities with what we do and a lot of different conditions to suit what we do. So I think, the biggest myth is that, there's no one size fits all, right?
Yep, that's right.
Every job has to be treated as an individual job, and every job has to be reviewed and spoken about to make sure that we've executed all the risk.
Let's go into a day-to-day for DTL. So obviously you're doing water, you're doing lots of things.
Yeah.
Go into exactly what you're doing, mate. So the listeners get a good idea of who you are, what you do, and how your business can support them.
Yeah, look, DTL was built on water. I'm 4 generations of water, starting with, my great-grandfather who walked across the country to pioneer sheep farming in the Northern Territory, digging wells for a living. That's a little bit harder than what we do nowadays.
Wow.
My grandfather, after him, having his own drill rig drilling through Ayers Rock. I think if you get it go on our website, you'll have a great look at some of our history. And then my father, obviously, with a farm in South Australia, was very much irrigation based. So we are generally 4 generations of water expertise. Wow. What we love about what we do is the uniqueness of it. No one size fits all. We are here to partner with our customers to come up with a suitable option, cost-effective option to manage their water requirements on site. Now, you've worked on a lot of sites, mate. You know how difficult the water is out in some of these sites. So there's a lot of extra work that needs to go in from an engineering perspective. We are very high tech.
You guys have your own in-house engineers?
Yes, we do. And obviously, with the way things are going right now with technology, we're really embracing AI to help us run our business. And I'm pretty excited to where we're going at the moment. We've got a lot of trials in the fire at the moment from a reporting and data collection perspective, and it's game changing for businesses like ours that are fluent, fast, versatile, and always on the go. So,
awesome.
Yeah, mate, I'm pretty excited with what we do. So, yeah, in a nutshell, mate, we're a water management business. We're here to support our mining or agricultural clients in their water needs.
Wow, awesome. What advice would you give to someone wanting to get into the mining industry, or even specifically getting into running a business in the mining industry?
Oh, mining's brilliant, mate. It gets a hard knock from a lot of people, but a lot of those people have never worked in it, unfortunately.
That's right.
What mining brings to our communities, our world, our life, our way of life, I would recommend anyone gets into it, and you can start at an entry level position in the mining industry. And there's no ceiling on what you can achieve,
That's right.
The companies that are out there will educate you. They'll put the work into you if you put the work in for them. And there's many nights in sheds in Kalgoorlie with trade assistants, with tradesmen, with politicians, with business managers, with mine managers. No one cares, All they care about is that you're a good person, and that's what it's about. And the mining industry has heaps and heaps of good people in it.
Yeah. Any takeaway lessons that any high key points that you have learned over the years? In those back sheds playing 2 up.
A lot of 2 up, yep, and a lot of beer consumed as well. So a lot of takeaways is just to treat people how you like to be treated. I think that's the biggest takeaways out of my time in Kalgoorlie. That There's no bullshitting out there.
Straight shooters.
Your word's your word. If you don't give your word, you're going to run into these guys at the coffee shop on a Saturday morning. They're going to give you a what for if you haven't delivered what you said you would, So the biggest takeaway for me is to do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Support your customers, be there for them, treat them as partners rather than transactions.
That's so true, mate. That's bloody true. Tyson, tell me about a recent project within the last 12 months that you're really bloody proud of.
Oh, mate, I've been lucky enough to be, projects is my baby, mate. I love projects. I love building things. I've been lucky enough to be involved in some great projects over my career, not just at DTL. So it's hard to put a marker on it, mate. But actually, probably one of the projects that wouldn't get as much credit as actually going out to site and executing them is actually building the business.
Yep.
We did it slowly, over a 10-month period. I think doing those nitty-gritties, coming from working with big businesses that had people to do all that for you, to go in and do it yourself. We've learnt more than enough in the last 12 months in just the business building part, and I think building our facility is one of the big things for us. One of the most proudest parts, our little facility down in Bibra Lake there, our head office, so to speak,
Yep.
With our little factory in it. It's exactly what we wanted to do, and I think that's probably one of my proudest moments, putting on this shirt on a daily basis, going into our own premises, knowing that it's ours. It's, everything that we've worked for to this day it's for us now.
There's something special about it, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so, mate. And being able to take the wife and the kid over there over the last couple of weeks and show them something I'm seriously proud about.
Yep. Yes, that's what I like to do too. Is I work so hard, and I hope that my children see that Dad's worked hard. This is the reason that he's on the phone. This is the reason he's smashing out emails. This is the reason every day when I open that office door, I think I'm working hard for something, and it's those bloody kids of mine, Mate,
and that's it. I mean, what do we have without them? I don't know what I did in my life
bloody
before. I was fairly selfish, I would have thought. So, it's been a huge eye opener to have a mini you walking around or crawling around.
Shit, hopefully not a mini me.
Yeah, I'm hopeful as well. Be like your mother, son.
Yeah. Mate, look, last question from me. Hit me with the next 12 to 18 months. What are we going to see next from DTL?
Oh, the next 12 to 18 months really excite me. There's some big projects in the pipeline, hopefully to be awarded in the coming month or two. And once we secure them, it takes a lot of pressure off the growth of the business, and we can really focus on getting into our regional communities. The next 12 to 18 months is going to be about expansion, mate. It's going to be about expanding into the regions heavier, more, getting our people out there, vehicles, all that kind of stuff, employing local people. I'm really excited where DTL is going in the next 12 to 18 months, and hopefully we can support the West Australian mining industry with a really high level, and from there, the world's our oyster, and after 18 months, who knows where we be. I'd like to be a national business
Beautiful,
in no time.
Mate. That's what I was hoping you were going to say. I'd love to see that for you, mate. I'd love to get you back maybe 12 to 18 months and see, you give me a call and say, Josh, we've kicked some goals. We're about to bloody expand. We're about to get into Queensland. We're about to head back home to bloody Adelaide or South Australia, mate. I'd love to hear that story.
I think I'll be picking Darwin first, mate, to get out of this cold weather.
Mate, wow, Darwin's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Well, mate, thank you very much for coming and spending the time with us. It's going to be another ripper episode.
Nah, brilliant, mate. Thanks for having us on, look forward to joining you again in 18 months' time.
Bloody ripper. Well, everyone, thank you very much for tuning into another episode on The Gold Room. The team keeps saying, I keep forgetting to say, don't forget to like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Helps with the algorithms. So thank you for tuning in. From the mic to the mine,